The content you're about to enjoy comes from the archives of The Best You. We're devoted to the very best in personal development. With a magazine and resources dedicated to inspiring and changing people's lives, at The Best You, we work with the world's leading writers and trainers on the evolution of the self, and people whose journeys have been affected by their work and words. For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.
All right. How's everybody doing? Where's everybody from? London? Raise your hands, London. Outside of London? Anybody from the U.S.? Just me. All right. Ready to have a good time today? All right. Do you want to engage a little bit today? A lot today? Or somewhere in between? What do you want to do? It's up to you. Did you come here for transformation or just to sit and whatever? What's your choice? You want transformation? Raise your hands. All right, let's jump into this. My name's Adam Mortimer. I'm the director of coaching at The Best You. And I've coached some of the biggest names in personal development. This is my family. I've got Imogen right here at the bottom, Isel, my beautiful wife, Moana, who's here at the event. And then I have identical twin boys, Kenneth and Chandler. I said this at one of the events. I said, look at my twin boys. And everyone said, oh, they're so cute. I said, don't say that. They're terrorists. Duck Dynasty. Any Shark Tank fans? One of the cool things about working in personal development, you get to work with some of the biggest names in personal development. Duck Dynasty. So Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. Zig Ziglar fans in the room? Zig Ziglar? Joe Vitale from The Secret. Anybody seen The Secret? Marie Diamond. Anybody familiar with Marie Diamond? Yep. So we work with all these big names. Brendan Burchard, High Performance. Brendan Burchard fans? Yes? Okay, cool. So these are some of the partners that we work with. Some of the certifications that I have: Achieve Today, High Performance, Miracles Coaching, Zig Ziglar. I've coached about 4,000 people in 85 countries at this point. I'm the author of the best-selling book, The Secrets of As a Man Thinketh, and the creator of the Achieve Today certification program. So, quick question for you. Now, how many of you could do something in the next 24 hours in your personal life, your family life, or your business life that would make your life worse? If you're confident you could do at least one thing, right? You can. Okay, good. We can think of at least one thing. On the other hand, how many of you could do something in the next 24 hours that would make your personal life, your family life, or your business life better? Yes? So if you answer yes to either one of those, at the end of the day, you're saying it is your choice. And right now you have a choice to transform your life. So when I started at 6 years old, my family and I, we were actually homeless. So I lived in a warehouse. I'm the middle child of 7 children. And so I was held back. I was called slow. I was called stupid. I was called dumb all growing up. I struggled with health issues. At one point I was, I'm not even going to say how much I weighed, but I weighed quite a bit. I struggled with relationships, especially the relationship I had with my father. And I had a very poor self-image, so much so at one point I wanted to end my own life. I share this story with you because if I don't, the other part doesn't make sense. It just seems like, wow, look what I've accomplished, right? But when you realize where I've come from, it's pretty cool. And hopefully that gives you hope that no matter where you're at, no matter what you're struggling with, you absolutely can do anything you put your mind to. So my life now, I get to work with some of the biggest names in personal development, very successful, travel, coach people all over the world, and I absolutely love my life. Anybody ever heard of the story of the Golden Buddha? No? You guys, this is one of my favorite stories. So in 1957, there was a Thai monk who was meditating under a tree. And he was meditating to a Buddha that you see there on the screen. But this Buddha was covered in clay and cement. So as he's meditating there, his curiosity gets the better of him, and he gets a hammer and a chisel. And he begins to hammer and chisel away at this Buddha, peeling back layer after layer of clay and cement, only to reveal that underneath all the stuff was this golden statue. It had a market value of over $300 million. And what's more than the market value is the spiritual significance of this Buddha. So when I think about what we do as coaches and what we do as we awaken people's greatness, we peel back the layer and layer of conditioning that so many of us have been accustomed to, all the limiting beliefs, all the stuff. And we're going to show you how to have breakthrough techniques in 60 seconds. How many of you want that in your life? You want something right now that can give you an immediate result, something that can help you have a breakthrough and get beyond your life. So, quick question for you, and you can shout out the answer. What makes your heart sing? So when you think about what brings you the most joy in your life, what would that be for you? What's that for you? Shout out your answers. Anybody like travel? Family? What else? Your children laughing. I love it. So when I asked myself what makes my heart sing, what came up for me was to live, to give, and to love. So we start with to live. So in 1830, I had a great-great-grandfather who was crossing the plains out in Missouri in the United States. And there's a lot of persecution at the time, a lot of religious persecution. So he was only 21 years old at the time. He had to gather anything and everything he could. And he was fleeing as quickly as he could. And a band of thieves came in and they scattered his cattle all over the place. Now, back then, if you lost your cattle, you were screwed, right? It was a big deal. So you can't do it. So he rode off to get his cattle back, and they ended up opening fire on him, and they shot him 3 times in the back. So he's laying there bleeding to death. You can imagine the scene. And one of the thieves actually came down, grabbed him by the hair, and attempted to scalp him. Well, he pushed himself up, and he yelled just loud enough that it startled him. And so he took off because he had supposed he was dead. Well, the 2 young men that were with him, they saw everything that would happen, and they rode back to tell his father. And you can imagine he rides back, and they tell him, your son's been killed. You need to go collect the body. And so he rides off with a very, very heavy heart to collect his son's body, and there his son is laying there on the rocks. So he picks up his son's ragdoll-like body and brings it back to camp. And he's laying there just barely clinging to consciousness. And one of the spiritual leaders came over to him, and he looked at him and he said, do you have the faith to live? And he said, I don't know, I'm in pretty bad shape. He looked at him again, and he said, do you have the faith to live? And he said, look, if you tell me that I can live, I'll believe you. And he said, stand up. And somewhere deep down, he mustered up the courage to stand up, 3 bullet holes and all. He ended up crossing the plains. It's over a 1,000-mile journey. And he ended up becoming one of the great founders of the West. He had a university named after him, a city named after him. And I think about that moment. You ever one of those moments? I learned about this story just 3 years ago, and I thought, how easy would it have been for him to just give up? Somewhere deep down, he had to find that faith beyond his own. One of my favorite quotes on faith goes like this: when you come to the edge of all the light and the knowledge that you have, faith is knowing one of 2 things will happen. You will have something solid to stand on, or you will be taught to fly. To give. So it was my senior trip. I was 19 years old at the time. We loaded a van of us up. We were at Salt Lake City, Utah, traveling all the way down to the tip of Baja, California. And we're in this 15-passenger van driving down this old dusty dirt road when suddenly the van sputters and it dies. Instinctively, we all look for the food only to find the food is gone. Then we look for the water. I get thirsty every time I tell this story, only to find all the water was gone. We were stuck. All we could do is cry out for help, hoping and praying that somebody would be there to help us. And off in the distance, we see this small car pull up. It was a mother and a father. And we piled in as many of us as we could in this car. And they drove us to one of the main roads. There we saw another car pull up. This one was just rusty as could be. You could tell that it was a family. There were 10 young kids sitting in the back, where only 3 should have been seated safely. You can tell that they were very poor, but notwithstanding their poverty, they were there offering to help us out. I remember my friend's dad who was with us. He pulled out cookies and gave them to all the young kids in the back. And you should have just seen their eyes light up and they're smiling. And it just made me realize in that moment, what an amazing world we can live in if we chose to give more. And finally, the most powerful of the 3 is love. So there's an elderly man. He's walking down a very busy street, and we'll say it was London, walking down a very busy street. By the way, this is my first time in London. I absolutely love this city. Can I just say you guys are blessed here to live in such a wonderful city. And it's beautiful. Just the art here. Wow. I said to my wife, I said, it is like we're walking in a picture. Somebody painted. This is absolutely beautiful. So for those of you that are here in London, what a great place and what a great city. So great, great place. Anyway, so he's walking down this very busy street and he trips and he falls. And there's one group of people that stop and stare and they do nothing. A second group of people, they look at him and then quickly look away, pretending that they didn't see. And still yet a third group of people, they laugh and they mock this elderly man. One group of people, one young man, he broke through the crowd. He helped the elderly man up and he got him into the taxi. And he took him to the hospital as quickly as he could. And upon arriving to the hospital, the doctor took one look at him and said, does this man have any friends or family? If so, you better call them immediately. Well, they asked him if he had any friends or family, and he just stopped and stared with a blank look on his face. He asked him again and again, do you have any friends or family? He said nothing. Finally, the young man just looked at him and said, look, I just want to let you know everything's going to be okay, and I love you. When he said those words, tears began to stream down the cheeks of the elderly man's face as the flame of mortality gave way to the rising smoke of the immortal world. Well, this experience so greatly impacted this young man. He wanted to find out who this elderly man was. And upon doing some research, he found out that this elderly man just so happened to be his father. A man that he'd had so much hatred for, so much bitterness for leaving him at such a young age. He said to me, you know, Adam, in that moment that I just told him that I loved him, all that hatred, all that anger, all that stuff that I'd just been holding on to just fell away. One of my clients came in, she said, Adam Mortimer taught me how to get clear. When I say the word get clear, anybody know what that means? Clearings. When I say clearings or getting clear, eliminating limiting beliefs. Yes, now I'm getting some nods. We all have belief systems, deep-seated beliefs. We're going to show you how to rapidly reprogram the mind, take out the limiting beliefs, the stuff that's been holding you back. Anyway, she came, and within 2.5 weeks, my whole concept about life has changed for the good. I even forgot what my limiting beliefs I had before. They don't control me anymore, and I feel free. The only feelings I experience today are an excitement and happiness. So I had somebody say, Adam, how is it that you get so many awesome results with people? And I said, it's because I know who people are at their core. And yeah, it's a deeper message. And how do you really transform someone's life? And I'll never forget what Zig Ziglar said to me. He said, Adam, he looked me in the eyes. He said, love never fails. It simply won't fail when you come with love and you do this in love. So I'm going to see if we can get this to play here.
For complimentary resources from my book, my complimentary e-course, The Power of the Question, or recommended reads, go to www.thequestion.com/resources. For more information on my coaching or mentoring, go to www.bernardo-moya.com.
I remember the first time I watched that message, I thought, wow, what a powerful message. Each one of us, our lives have a purpose, and each one of us are glorious. After coaching so many people in so many different backgrounds, I've come to realize that that's absolutely the truth. All right, let me go to the next scene here. So I did some studies on life coaching, some key conclusions they found. Life coaching makes a significant difference in one's overall life, satisfaction, goal attainment, helps people be more effective, take action, and, of course, asking questions is one of the best ways of coaching. So I'll never forget one of my clients who came in. Her name was Emma. Emma was really struggling. She had gone through a very bitter divorce. Her family left her, lost her job. And she came in, she did this clearing session that we're going to walk everybody through today. Her success skyrocketed. 30 days later, she writes a best-selling book. She does phone calls now. Her last phone call had over 2,000 people on it where she was inspiring them to live a better life. And she was able to conquer her depression as well. So what is a limiting belief? When you hear this limiting belief, what does that mean? How would you define a limiting belief? Limiting belief is what? Anything that stops you from performing. Good. Any other thoughts? So I like to share this optical illusion here. We've all seen optical illusions before. And so what I like to say is a limiting belief is an illusion of the mind. So we have these belief systems that are holding us back. I'll never forget Amir came in, he goes, Adam, I've got a problem. I said, what's that? He said, I want to get in on these online dating sites, but not a single woman had responded to my online profile in over 2 years. So you can imagine how frustrating that would be. I said, nobody's responding to me. What do I do? We did a clearing. We cleared out the limiting belief. He said, Adam, you're not going to believe this. I said, try me. He said, after we did that session, 24 hours later, I've had so many responses to my online profile that I've actually had to close it down. He said, now my problem's not that no women will date me. It's which one do I pick? It's a good problem to have, right? So how much of the average person's life is controlled by these subconscious belief systems? What would you say? 80%? Yeah. Any other guesses? 90%? So according to neuroscientists, it's 95% of the average person's life is controlled by the subconscious. So I usually do a fun little example. I say, go ahead and say silk out loud 5 times. So go ahead and say it with me. Silk, 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 silk. What do cows drink? And what was the first thought that popped in your mind? What was it? It was milk, right? So because of our environment, because of our conditioning, the question is this, and I use this as a metaphor. How often in life is the correct answer water? But because of our programming, because of our conditioning, we say milk. And we don't even realize it's destroying our lives. How many of you follow what I'm saying? Say I. Okay. So it is 95%. So here's a good example, a good visual. I'm a visual learner. This is how it works. You've got this belief system. Let's say you've got a goal. What are your goals in life? Shout them out. What's the most important thing to you right now is what? What? Financially free. What are some other goals? Okay. Traveling. Be happy. Okay, so there's your financial freedom. You're trying to be happy. You're trying to move towards that goal. But deep down, you have these belief systems. Now, after coaching 4,000 people, I'd have to be an idiot not to know what the most common limiting beliefs are. There's 3 really common ones that are universal. These are worth writing down. And we're going to do a rapid clearing if any of you have one of these 3. You don't have to tell me if you have them or not. But there's a good chance that there's some people with one of these 3 limiting beliefs. What do you think the number one limiting belief, universal limiting belief is? I can't. Okay. I'm not good enough is the number one limiting belief. I'm not good enough. So those red arrows is subconsciously pulling in the opposite direction. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy and I don't deserve it are the top 3. I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. Now, how do you know if you have one of these limiting beliefs? How do you know? You feel it. Yeah. You feel it. It's an emotion. So here's the question I'll ask each of you, and each of you kind of think through this as we do the 60-second clearing here in just a moment. Notice if there's any emotion. So when you say, I'm not good enough, notice, put a number by it on a scale from 0 to 10. So 10 would be you feel it really strongly, and a 0 would be you don't feel it at all. Okay, so go ahead and rate it. And you can rate each one. Just go with the first number that kind of pops into your mind. Right now in this moment, what number would you give it? I'm not good enough. I don't deserve it. I'm not worthy. So you can rate those on a scale from 0 to 10. If you're with me, can you just say I so I know who's listening? All right, just want to make sure. By the way, I'm going to give everyone here a free gift if that's okay. Everybody here is going to get something really cool. This is worth about, I had to do the translation, but it's about 495 pounds. Everybody here is going to get it. It's a Quantum Meditation Suite. I'm going to make sure everybody gets it. I'm also going to make sure everybody here gets a free coaching consultation. So keep participating and we'll make sure you get these free gifts. Okay, so everybody rated it, right? All right, so we've done the first step. Step number 1 is to identify the limiting belief. This is the 60-second clearing. Step number 2, after you identify it, 1 is identify, 2 is rate the emotional charge on a scale from 0 to 10. Step number 3 is we use the power of story and metaphor to clear it. So how do we do this? All right, I want you to shout out the first object that pops into your mind. Any object in the world. First object. Okay, a lamp. Car. Perfect. We're going to imagine that car represents I'm not good enough. Okay? So you're going to put that car in a small black and white TV. And this is a little visualization exercise. If you want to close your eyes, if you visualize better with your eyes closed, that's perfectly fine. Whatever you're most comfortable with. So you can imagine that car, whatever object you associate with, I'm not good enough. You just pick any object in the world. What you're going to do is you're going to imagine that getting smaller and smaller, moving farther and farther away until it just disappears, until it's gone. So you're imagining it, visualizing it. You can put down your notes for a moment and just visualize this so you can experience it. I want you to have the experience today. So imagine it getting smaller and smaller to the point where it's completely gone. You're able to just eliminate it completely. Now, for some of you, you might want to write it up on a whiteboard. And you can imagine writing, I'm not good enough, or maybe drawing a picture of the object that represents you're not good enough. Once it's on the whiteboard, what would you like to do with it? You want to rub it off? All right, we're going to just erase it completely till it's all the way gone in your mind. You do that over and over. Then you check back into the number. For those, how many of you went through that exercise? You actually did it. You did? How many of you actually felt the difference in the energy? Did you notice it go down a little bit? Okay, so you repeat this process until it's completely turned off. Why are we turning off emotions? Why would we do that? It's like turning off a light switch. It's the emotions that drive human behavior, right? So we're driven by emotion. We like to think that we're logical, rational beings, but that's not true. It's so much of our behavior. Scientifically, this is all backed by neuroscience now. We know that it is driven by emotion. All right, so once it's completely cleared, then we put in the new thoughts. New thoughts like, I am good enough. I do deserve it. I am worthy. Now, once you do this, what are the odds you're going to get to the goal if you eliminate the limiting beliefs and realign it with that which you desire? Okay. Now your chances of success absolutely skyrocket. How many of you here want more confidence? Anybody here want more confidence in your life? Should we do a fun exercise for confidence? We'll see if we can get you up to 10 real fast. Can I challenge you? If you were to think of your number of confidence, what number would you give it right now on a scale from 0 to 10? 11, 6, 1. Okay, I'm hearing all sorts of different ones. Okay. What was yours? 11. Hey, there you go. Good for you. Good for you. Well, let's bottle that up and drink it, right? Okay, so we're going to imagine the first color that pops in your mind when you think of confidence. What is the first color that pops into your head? What is it? Red? Okay, we're going to imagine that red color. All right, here's what we're going to do. Y'all know what a power pose is? Stand up for a moment and just strike a power pose. Y'all said you wanted to engage, right? And you can smile. Put on a big old smile, just like you eat a banana sideways. That's right, smiling good. Smile. Okay, now, we're going to take that red color, whatever your color is, and we're going to put it into your chest right here, and we're going to spin it. And we're going to grow it to the point where it's bigger and bolder and stronger and bigger and bolder and stronger. Yes, it takes a little visualization to do this, okay? So focus. Just keep up with me. There you go. Keep it up. Bring that energy. Now, how far can you expand that color if you really wanted to expand it? How big can you make it? As big as you want, right? So I want you to make it as big as you possibly can. Expand it just as far as you can. Maybe you can fill up the whole room. Maybe fill up the whole universe. Fill it as hard as you can. If your energy went up, if your confidence went up, say I. Say I. Y'all know it went up, didn't it? Good job. Give your hands. How long did that take? About 60 seconds. About 60 seconds. So here's my question for you. If you could raise your confidence that high in 60 seconds, what's stopping you from having higher confidence the rest of your life? Nothing. Isn't that cool? Now, the cool thing is you can condition this. How long does it take to create a habit? Okay, 21 days. We've heard 30 days. You know, new science is coming out. It's actually 66 days on average to create a habit. I always thought it was 21 days. I was guilty of that. It's actually about 3 times longer. For some people, it can go all the way up to a year to create a habit. 3 elements of a habit, what are they?
For more information on collaborating, partnering, sponsoring, supporting, or speaking at any of our events or finding out more about our legacy clubs, go to www.thebestyou.co. If you're interested in finding out more about the amazing content we have, please go to www.thebestyou.online and get your 14-day free trial now.
What are the 3 things you need to create a habit? First thing you need is a cue. What's a cue? I know here it's a line, but a qui. No, they call it qui. You need a trigger. First day in London. You need a cue, a trigger, a reminder. You need some kind of a reminder. So what's something you can do to remind yourself to do this simple exercise? 60-second exercise. What's something you can do?
The bathroom mirror.
Bathroom mirror. Perfect. Maybe put it on your phone, right? Okay, so you need a cue. Next piece is you need a response. Okay, what is a response? Well, that's the behavior. That's what you're doing. That's the little exercise we did, right? Okay, so that's step number 2. Step number 3 is you need a reward. You need a dopamine release, so something that feels good, right? Sometimes the reward's contained in the actual behavior, and I believe it is in this case as well. So you've killed 2 birds with 1 stone there. So cue, response, reward. How y'all doing? Is this valuable information? You doing okay? What's that? Another example of the response. So just what we did, the response, putting your arms up, spinning the color, making it bigger, bolder, stronger, until your energy, your confidence goes up. Once you feel it, now you're going to be able to get it up to a 10. Now, when I started this, you know what number I was in confidence? A 1. That's where I was. Being homeless, being in that space, I've come a very long ways. If you'd have told me you'd be traveling the world speaking to people, I would have said, you're out of your mind. There's no way. I'm not going to do that. But here we are. And it's because of this. It works. I had a client that came in. She goes, Adam, I want to work on this. I've got this 1-bedroom bed and breakfast. And if I could just get some publicity, it would change everything. 30 days after applying the principles that we teach, 30 days later, she gets a phone call from Every Day with Rachel Ray. Has over 2.1 million subscribers. Her business today is now booming. Pretty amazing what can happen. So here's the 12 steps that I walk people through when they go through our coaching. First step is an introduction. This is where we really build the relationship, build the rapport. Step 2 is we set your intention. How vital is your why? Do you know what your why is? Why am I doing what I'm doing? What is my purpose? You're going to be able to find that. How many of you would like a system and a way to find that very, very quickly? So you can wake up with passion and enthusiasm and excitement in your life. That's number 2. Number 3 is vibrancy. This is our health session. Are you getting enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you eating healthy foods? Simple things, but how often are they neglected, right? Finding limiting beliefs and clearing limiting beliefs. This is the core of the program. How do you find these blocks that are holding you back, and how do you clear these limiting beliefs? There's many different clearing methods. I shared with you one clearing method. How many of you have heard of tapping, EFT? Okay, that's a clearing method. Did you ever notice that virtually all clearing methods, it's all about turning off the negative emotions? Doesn't matter what clearing method you do, it's always the same. It's the same, turning off the negative emotions. How do you visualize properly? Let's do a fun little thing. We'll show you how to visualize properly in a way that enhances the emotions. So y'all have a goal. What is your number 1 goal right now in your life? Do you have a goal? Something, or maybe a dream that you have. It might not even seem realistic at right now, but something that you really want to do. Can you think of at least one thing? If not, can you make at least one thing up? Pretend. All right. I want you to go into that thing and I want you to see it and imagine as if you're there right now living that dream. What would that look like? And what would that feel like to you to be in there? We're going to shift just a few things. I want you to rate the energy you feel on a scale from 0 to 10 when you think about your goals and what you're most excited about. What number would it be for you? Shout out your number. How excited does it make you when you think of your dreams, your goals, your vision, your purpose? What number do you give it? 9? 10? 10? Okay. So now we're going to enhance the colors. I want you to go into the same picture and now make it brighter in your mind. All the colors become more vivid, more bright, more real. What happens to the energy when you do that? What happens?
It's fizzing all around me.
Do you notice it? The energy goes up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, can you make the image bigger in your mind? Actually make it visually bigger. Make it very big in your mind. Like the size of an IMAX theater. Very large. Very, very large. 3 double-decker buses. Bigger, right? Make it massively huge. And what happens to the emotion when you make it bigger? It's incredible, right? You feel it going up higher. Again, if you can feel that good with your goals that fast, what's stopping you from feeling that good all the time? And all it is, happiness is a habit of thought. That's what it's writing down. Your happiness, who said they wanted happiness? I want to find more happiness. It's a habit. You can condition the mind for happiness. And you can wake up. Somebody says, well, Adam, you're always happy. Why are you always happy? Why are you always excited? It's like, because it's a choice. Doesn't mean I wake up and I'm all excited. It's like, when I wake up, it's like, okay, what kind of a day am I going to have today? Am I going to mope? Or am I going to smile? And I choose to be happy. Confidence. This is a key. No matter where you're at with session number 7, you will be to a 10 and we will condition it so it sticks. Okay, again, it takes about 3 months to do this, but you'll have confidence. Time to achieve it's our productivity session, clearing mastery program, master your powerful mind. So for those of you that want the quantum meditations, you're going to need to fill this out. We'll also get you a free 45-minute coaching session. So if you could pass that around. Let's see, let me pass that around. I don't know if I have enough here. Hopefully I have enough for everybody. Sorry if I run out. You know how it goes. First come, first serve. So, I'm sorry. Pass that out. You bet. Sorry, and we'll try to pass out as many as we can. If we run out, I do apologize. We're in booth C20. If you don't get a form, C20, just over there. So I'll never forget, I was riding this old rusty bike. It was from home to to school from the warehouse. Thank you. Let me pass them over here. There we go. And I'm riding this old rusty bike. It's cold outside. It's winter. And I was able to, the bike toppled over on top of me, and we were stuck. And all I could do is cry out and hope and pray someone would be there to help me. And so I'm riding down this old rusty, it followed over that my shoelaces came tied up on my bike. And this nice person came over to me and said, untied my shoe, wiped away my tears, and gave me a few encouraging words. I just remember how excited I felt for that person because he did for me what I couldn't do for myself. And to me, that's what coaching is. It's being that light in maybe a dark mind, someone that needs that extra help, or someone that's a high performer and just wants to go to the next level. That's what it's about as well. So taking it to the next level. So quick question. Does anybody have any blocks, any questions, anything that they want work with, help with? Any questions on anything? Yeah.
I have a real challenge with my attitude to money.
Okay, she said she has a real challenge with her attitude with money. What is it?
Basically, when I was at school, I was told that you would get a husband and they would look after you.
When she was in school, she said, you will get a husband and he will look after you?
Yeah.
That's what the teachers would say. And that's your block?
It's my block.
And how strongly do you feel that block on a scale from 0 to 10?
10.
It's a 10.
I'm still waiting.
You're still waiting? Okay. But you can feel that block, right? And how has that block impacted your life?
All the way.
All the way.
Yeah. 50 years and I'm still waiting.
For 50 years, you've had that energy inside of you. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably 30.
Would you like to let go of it today?
Yes.
Okay. Where do you feel? Now, this is live. You never know what's going to happen with the live. So let's do this. So you ready? Okay, where do you feel that block inside of your body? First of all, when you say that, go ahead and say the limiting belief. If you were to say it in one sentence, what would you say?
My husband will look after me. I don't need to earn money.
My husband will look after me. I don't need to worry about money.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that comes into your mind.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you this because it's very interesting what happens after you do the clearing. You'll actually see the thoughts, the first thoughts that pop in their head will actually shift based on the emotional charge. Okay? And it'll be difficult to feel it. So we'll do this. So where do you feel it in your body?
Yeah.
In your chest? And if you were to give it a color, what color would you give it?
Sludge brown.
Surge brown?
Sludge brown.
Sludge brown.
Yeah.
That is a yucky color, isn't it? You're probably ready to get rid of this, right? All right. What I'd like you to do, close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep breath in. I want you to imagine that energy coming from where it is, up and out of your body. We're just going to imagine pulling it outside of your body. And tell me when it's all the way outside of your body. The point where we're just going to set it aside for a moment. Just have it step outside your body for a moment. Is that okay? You're happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to have you just imagine chopping up that energy. And I want you to just simply repeat these words. I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to just chop that up into little bitty pieces. And tell me when it's completely gone. We'll just chop it up.
Might take a while.
That's okay. Chop it up into little bitty pieces. And when you're happy that you're able to turn it to dust, take a deep breath in and say, whew, it feels so good to let that go.
It feels so good to let that go.
Everybody put your hands together like this. Go like this. Clasp them together. Is your left thumb on top or right thumb on top? Right? Oh, okay. You know what that means, right? It means you're dead sexy. Okay, who's got your left thumb on top? Oh, goodness. We have some weirdos in the audience. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay, it doesn't mean anything. So, on a scale from 0 to 10, how comfortable is that to you? Comfortable, right? Because it's normal. Now, unclasp them again. Put the opposite thumb on top. Now, tell me on a scale from 0 to 10 how comfortable that is. Did it go up or down for you? What happened to the comfort level? For most people, the comfort level is going to go down, which is interesting. But there's no right or wrong answer to it, okay? So it's like, no, mine didn't work. It's like, no, it's okay. Everybody's different, and that's okay. So what we're going to do now, go ahead and take a deep breath and say, that feels amazing. Let's put some passion into it so they wonder what we're doing in here. Try again. That feels amazing. Whoa, we're getting some people. Woo, what's going on in here? Okay, take a deep breath in. That feels amazing. Okay, now, unclasp them again. We're just going to go like this. Left thumb on top, right thumb on top, left thumb on top, right thumb on top, left thumb on top, right thumb on top. Go back to the one you started from, the first one. Feels about the same, right? Okay, undo it and go to the other one. Did the comfort level go up or down for you? How fast can change happen? In an instant, right? So people are going, it's going to take me forever to do this. How fast can change happen? You just saw it happen. When the mind learns a shortcut, it takes the short. It didn't take you long when you were a kid to take a new shortcut home, right? You did it very quickly. So you're able to chop it up? What happened to the number on a scale from 0 to 10? What number would you give it?
It's maybe an 8 now.
An 8. So it went from a 10 to an 8. If you had a 20% improvement in your bank account in 60 seconds, how would you feel? Pretty amazing. Give her a hand. All right. You guys had a good time? Yes? Was that valuable? What was your top takeaway from today? What stood out to you? What did you resonate with the most? Top takeaway from today. How fast change can happen. What else? How easy it is, right? We make change such a big deal, right? Transformation, it's so simple once you have the right tools. I say it's like a light switch. Once you know where the light switch is, it's no big deal. You just flip it on. And if you don't like those emotions, you just learn to turn them off. So for those of you that want your free gift, make sure to fill out the form. Did anybody not get the form? Okay, fill it out, turn it in to me, and then we'll go from there. So thanks so much, everybody, for coming. What's that? C20 is the stand. Yep. So come say hi if you get a chance. Okay. God bless everyone. Thanks so much.
For more information, go to www.thebestyou.co.